welcome to the 75th edition of the Locarno Film Festival and to the press, to the Q&A after the screening of Declaration, the first film in the international competition. Please welcome our guests. So I will start from my left is Bandhu Prasad, film programmer and member of the delegation of the film. The producer of the film, Shebin Baker. Divya Prabha, actress, main actress of the film. Kunchako Boban, actor and producer. And director Mahesh Narayan. So I would like to start. For me, this film, like as you said in the beginning, it's a multi-layered film that has many readings and deals with many different social issues. But above all, for me, it's a film about female empowerment. So I wanted to ask the main actors of the film, how did you work in your relationship in that context? How was it for you? Did you have any inspiration to build these characters that are workers, that are a married couple, but that are going through this process of somehow splitting because of their different, maybe, moral views on what's going on?
Hello. Thank you, Locarno, for this amazing opportunity. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank my director, Mahesh Narayanan, for trusting me to do this role, Reshmi, and Kunjako Boban, whose constant support and the chemistry between us helped me to complete the declaration. Shebin Becker, the producer, festival curator, Bindu. Thanks to all. Thanks to each and every one of the team Ariyippu. Actually, the movie portrays the social stigma, humiliation, physical abuse, and lot of emotions. For me, I think I can relate to the all emotions, the emotions of Reshmi. Actually, I can relate, but I try to perform that through Reshmi's eyes, or through Reshmi. And I think Mahesh, the director Mahesh, helped me to convey the whole character graph in detail. So, yeah.
Thank you, Locarno. Thank you for this awesome reception. For the past 25 years, I was in the film industry, and I was tagged as the chocolate hero for all these years. And P.B. Harish in Ariyippu is an exact opposite of what I have been doing for so many years. And this is one character which is very close to my heart, because when Mahesh and us, the whole team, started off with Ariyippu, we wanted to do something which was from our hearts. We put in our more than 100%. We were passionate about what we were doing, and we wanted to place it in another level. And by God's grace, we got the opportunity. The first stepping stone, the starting stone, is from Locarno, and we are just humbled and honored. And regarding Harish, yeah, okay. So we can see the male chauvinistic angle pattern in Harish, and he is very opportunistic actually, because he wanted to utilize and exploit the situations to go further ahead in his life, and he is not too much obliged to being very straightforward. He can bend the rules according to his whims and fancies. He has that male supremacy thing in his mind. And during the course of the movie, we can see in the later stages, he's actually pleading or begging Rashmi to be with him to go to more better places and better pastures. But that's the whole idea about the whole thing, because the relations which we have been playing with, which we have been toying with, they are very intricate layers, even among the social and political environment that is happening in India. And it has been very delicately and deliberately, but very organically portrayed. If we go deeper inside the situations and the layers, we can understand what we have been trying to convey. It's not just a spoon feeding, because it's more of like an intellectual thing in some ways and more direct in another ways. But altogether, the whole process of having Harish in my skin had whole freedom from Mahesh, because he is one editor, who is one technician who has edited the most number of films of mine. So he knows me inside out, and he knows how to push my limits. And whenever I try to be in my limits, he just said, Chakoshin, he calls me Chakoshin, yeah. Chakoshin, you just push your limits, go think out of the box, do it from a different angle, perceive things in another point of view. And that's what happened. And Harish will always be one of the top list characters that I have done. And thank you, Locarno, for the wonderful reception, because we didn't expect such a big crowd over here. And the applause after the film ended, that is something which I will cherish in my memories till I die. Thank you very much.
I remind you that at any point you can raise your hand and ask a question if you have. If not, we can go on with director Mahesh. Congratulations again for the film, and thank you. So I would like to ask you about another of the layers of the film, which is this motive of migration that is present in the film. We have the couple who is traveling from south, where they are from, to the north, and they are trying to live abroad. Is this something that is common in Indian society nowadays, that people want to move?
Yeah, so for financial reasons, it's true. So it's not very common when somebody from south goes and work in northern part of India. See, as mentioned in the film, this is more like a transit space, like because all the embassies and the paperwork and everything happens in the capital city. So mostly people have to go there and interact with most of the consulates, or some of the sponsors who guarantee them work and everything. So in that scenario, it is for them. It's a short time period where even without money, people are willing to work, because it's a kind of at least for some kind of savings for food or shelter, they're willing to work. So this has a different contrast also if you look at in the setting of India right now, because nowadays we see a lot of people from northern part of India coming to work in down south. That's another sort of migration which is happening constantly. That's why that line in the film is very relevant. When the police person asks them, why did you guys come here? Because nowadays people are going from north to south. Why you chose the opposite way? So that is quite a contradictory thing in terms of the ethos or setting right now, which is India going through. And also there are as we discussed before, most of these layers are very textured, very with a very minimal approach, so that when you watch it repeatedly, probably you'll analyze it and understand it, what is happening in a meticulous way. And I don't want to force it or punch it directly, so that make it more minimal, and so that the communication is let the communication flow as the interpretation travel. So
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Yes, please. Do we have a microphone?
Thank you for this really interesting and touching movie. I was interested to ask you if there is another layer, and it's the factory's policies and the internal management of the factory. It seemed to me it's not about full understanding of all the situation lived by all the personnel, but neither a full repression. It's very between both. So I'm just wondering if this is a typical point that many of these kind of factories are on a way in the middle, or because what we see here in Switzerland is mainly the worst cases and some greenwashing as well.
So coming to your question, the reason why I think these kind of factories never follow certain SOPs are just, they are, see people, laborers there, they are all victims of the pandemic right now, because they never knew that at any point of life that gloves factories will be so much in demand because, they never thought about that kind of thing, because, surgical, because I will tell you an example of what actually the level of scam, these are all real, like I pick up stories from surroundings. So these are something which happened in India. It's not that I one fine morning I started deciding, okay, something like this, let's make a film out of that. It's not like that. So, the reason behind all these things is need. Like, when you say in the medical sector, so certain categories of gloves or mask or anything, like, sanitizers or anything, if they are categorized as A, B, C, after a point in the pandemic stage, I will tell you, all the C grades are turned into B and the B turned into A. So in that terms also you'll understand, how much of, work pressure they're going through. And most of these machines, they started running, they never stopped, I know certain factories where, where the machines were never switched off till a year. So the continuous maintenance is going on, and see climate conditions also, it's almost like 42 degrees inside a factory like that. And luckily, we shot during winter time. So for us it was okay, but the conditions where, where certain factories work, they never follow these industrial norms and SOPs. And also, it's true that, regulations has to be kept, and, norms has to be there. But there are a lot of people who take advantage of certain other things, and then, so that's why these kind of scams also start traveling. So, yeah, I understand that.
We have a question here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mahesh, for a wonderful film.
Thank you.
Very, very proud to be here as one of the film. I saw the metaphor of the mechanical side of the factory and the relationships. Every relationship, the police and all, it was going on in a mechanical manner and or something. But one question that I have, which is not resolved in my mind, is that while the film also has one of the layers of women empowerment and equality stood for, what happened to the wife and the husband of the people who exploited the worker in that situation? Because she went and helped the victim, but she's still with the man who was a perpetrator at the end of the film. So what was the contrast of these two women who are different? And in fact, in a way, she corrupts Harish also, in a way that I'm going to give you an opportunity. As it is, Harish is very nimble and opportunistic, as he said. But this matter remained unsolved, and while you have addressed for a central protagonist, this one.
So coming to the film, coming to your question, there are three women, if you notice closely. One is Rashmi, one is Smita, which is played by Lauleen, and then the Neelam, I mean the owner of the factory. So the factory is named under her name. If you look at it, it's called Neelam Rubber Factory. So we show Neelam in the end only, but it's a patriarchal society, and everybody understands that well. And the thing here it is, see, it's a digital footprint. Like, you know, it's not about something which is done, addressed on a piece of paper or toned, or you can't burn it and then say that, okay, then now the evidence is gone. So digitally it's recorded. So what can she do other than, like, you know, pushing everybody with, you know, bribing them, corrupting them, and, you know, pleasing them, convincing them. So she takes all kind of weapons in her side and then tries to aim it in such a manner that, you know, at times, you know, when the men couldn't resolve all these issues, there are these females, you know, take charge. This is a typical North Indian Punjabi attitude, like, you know, that probably you'll understand it well when you see in the northern part of India. So if you look at like two other females other than Rashmi, like, you know, Smita's task was only to raise an issue, but she also doesn't want to leave the factory, just because, you know, she understands that, see, management, they're all like, you know, in a way insecure, because, you know, they can't get out of their comfort zone, and they know that, see, they can't live without, like, at this particular stage of their career, they can't go out and fetch for other work, other job, fields of job, because they, in terms of age and everything. And, like, Neelam has got more responsibilities in terms of, what do you say, liabilities probably. Like, you know, it's a long thing, and, you know, somebody who has done a kind of crime in her family, she can also, like, you know, it's kind of like, there are two kind of families which you represent. We are not showing any kind of where is Harish's family coming from, where is Rashmi's family coming from. We are not showing anything, but we understand the ethos from the film with minute backstories and detailing. But here also, if you look back, the owner's like backstory, it would have been like, you know, after a point, she's helpless. She can't do much of anything other than compromising and, you know, mediating and, you know, giving them some kind of an offers, some goodies and everything, and then, yeah, please keep your mouth shut, and then please let's rest assured. So this is the situation, and I don't want to culminate that in that manner. And Rashmi on the other side, she has dignity. She's not. See, as Stefan said, it's a feministic film. But the problem here, we are not, like, you know, propagating it through, you know, huge dialogues or verbal kind of things. It's very simple, where, you know, where she only wants a respect in terms of her work field and her personal life. That's what she's achieving in the end. And she also doesn't want to leave the factory, because, you know, that's a job she has earned. And, you know, she's happy for that. She just need a declaration stated outside the factory, because she feels that everything which is coming in the notice board is being watched or witnessed by the factory workers. That's very naive kind of thinking. But for her, she's happy in that manner. So in that sense, the factory people's story will always continue, because Harish will be always in guilt. Because in the very next, like, you know, whenever in that factory abroad, he's coming for signing his attendance register or something, like, you know, he will definitely watch this particular person, and he will be in guilt. There is no other choice for him. Like, you know, he should be in guilt. And in the end, if you look at the film, in the end, we are ending in such a manner where, you know, who is the newest generation consumers. Like, you know, it started with the video in a smartphone, and who are the newest consumers of this thing? So, like, you know, these children are studying through, like, you know, through internet or mobile phones or tablets. So this is the next generation. So it will never vanish. Like, you know, it's nothing, like, you know, nothing can be resolved. It will still come up, maybe through some other person. So we don't know. So that's why it's an open-ended thing for the factory people, and for them, there is a closure in their life. But, you know, they are never satisfied. Both of them are never satisfied. Thank you.
Part of my question about women empowerment, my good friend Sunil Doshi has already covered. So one thing which, a big applause to the whole team, especially my native man, Chakochan, and all the team. What impressed me is the initially reluctant Reshmi, who said, "No, we don't go to the police."
Yes.
Later on, become the model women of modern India. That women has to come out from the social taboos, and that you have done very cleverly. And thank you very much for that. That is what we need in India at the moment. We have, while seeing all the news we are getting every day, that's what we need. And thank you very much for placing the women in the first place to, in the second part of the film, makes the bold personality. And of course, the interaction between the husband and wife, they did it wonderfully. And this is something which you made very brilliantly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to congratulate myself with the lady, with the actress, because she's been wonderful. And I was wondering, thank you. I was wondering how you feel about your role, how you felt about your role, and what do you think about women in India, how to say, emancipation about women in India. And congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think every woman in the world can relate to this character. The elements in Reshmi resides in every woman, and it happens every single time, I think. And Reshmi is something close to me, and it was a very exciting role for me, and at the same time it was so challenging emotionally to do the role. So absorbing Reshmi's emotions and the situations was a little challenging and exciting for me. That's it. Thank you.
Much for this movie. I just wanted some explanation. I'm not sure I understood the scam about the quality of the latex quality and the fact they were running after these guys and trying to catch them. I'm not sure I understood the end, the aim. I mean, I understood the video, but the rest is a bit obscure. Is it possible for you to explain, please?
Yeah. So it's very simple. Like, as I said, mentioned earlier in the last question, like, in terms of medical gloves, there are certain classifications. Some is A grade, which goes to surgical stuff, and some others are home use or something like that. So when pandemics started, certain factories who were only associated with certain grade category, they started misusing this because they need to increase their production. So for that, every gloves they produce, it has to be tested. So testing goes through a different process that it's shown in the film. So one is this air-filled process. So in that process itself, what it happens is, after a particular point, they need not increase the pressure meter just because to make sure that gloves is efficient enough to be rated as this particular grade. So that's why the latex quality definitely matters in that. So here it is everything, like, first of all, the supervisors there just to earn a little more bucks in terms of commission or in terms of revenue generated with mass production. They try to do this kind of scam in first case. Secondary thing is that reusing the used stuff, that is very scary because we don't know how this medical waste is getting dumped out. And these incidents actually happen in India where where certain small factories, like this is supposed to be a small factory in India. It's not a huge big factory and all. So with 30, 40 workers and all. So certain factories used to do this kind of reusing in terms of buying used gloves and taking it out and then washing it again, drying it again, repacking it, and produce and supplying it into this. So these are not you can't treat it as export quality or any kind of stuff, because earlier the latex gloves which is produced only in India was supposed to be in an export category gloves. Now it's not that, because need is everywhere. With the pandemic, this is not in terms of gloves alone. It's in terms of every equipment. If you look at certain small distilleries, they all started producing hand sanitizers during the pandemic. I'm pretty sure people know about that. So and in terms of mask also, how do you differentiate an N95 with a brand, brand? How do you know? Just because they write it's an N95, how can you treat? How will you know that it's grade A or grade B or grade C? So this is a layer, just a layer inside the thing, but but there is much more for the film to talk. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hi. Oh,
Thank you very much to all of you for the film. During the film, I was somehow thinking, why two stories? One about problem of women and one about what is happening in factories. It could be also in pharmaceutical factories, e.g. in Switzerland. But now when you said, I was thinking of, you said, women have to come out. Yeah. And I think the relation between, I don't know whether you want it, also people in a factory have to come out. And that's what, it's not a question.
Actually, your statement is actually true, because there are not many whistleblowers in Indian factories who can come out and speak for them, because they are still sabotaged or oppressed. Ask them to keep quiet. That's which is happening right now in India. So everybody is silenced. So there should be some kind of a resistance which is constantly happening. So this is one kind of resistance, but there is no solution to that. We can't say that one person came out and then, only thing what a particular person in that factory who's a kind of a supervisor, the lady, what she's achieving is basically that particular lot of gloves, she's taking it back and, disposing it in fire, and saying them that, okay, now this lot is not anymore, good for supply. That's the only thing, but that doesn't mean that she's been silenced or she's terminated from job, or neither she doesn't want to move out of the factory also. That is also for sure, because job is important ultimately, yes, right? Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we have a question here.
First of all, thank you so much for this wonderfully crafted and beautifully put together film. Being an Indian and from Kerala myself, it gives me immense pleasure to be in Locarno and catch this film. The question that I had was, I felt as though when we started the film, there was very clear divisions between classes and where they were living, etc. And as the movie grew tighter in terms of the relationships and the sub-stories and the plots that was going on, I felt like the importance between the difference between the social classes, especially financial classes, was becoming more and more transparent, especially with the introduction of the boss coming in the Audi. I expected there would be a luxury lifestyle that we show for the boss, but that wasn't the case. So here again it shows amidst the human emotions and amidst what humans go through, along with all the issues that they're in, of course that wins over the social class. But I really wanted to know your motives and your thoughts in representing the different classes and the social in this realm.
See, so for whatever I've written or whatever I've addressed or expressed through my films, neither of my characters are black or white. Most of them stay in this gray zone, where I still believe that there should be a reason for them to become black. There is no particular person who is a born criminal or a born thing like that. It's always according to their circumstances. So people are always trying to be helpful, pretend that they're helpful, but inner side, all are selfish, in their own ways. So here also, if you look at Harish at times, Harish is not like see, I will just tell you an example. When Harish is picking her from the hospital, and at that stage he's very much offended, and he's embarrassed, humiliated. But at the same time, he opens a door for Rashmi. It's not that he doesn't want to show, like, a kind of what do you say, a bad kind of a behavior, or I'm being a bad husband. It's nothing like that. He still believes that, there's a possibility, there's a chance of patching up, or he still has that confidence in him, saying that he also he still, like, till a point in the film, he doesn't believe that it's Rashmi. It's the social stigma which is actually piercing into him and saying in his brain, like, think about it, think about it, think about it. And after a point, he started, being suspicious, more and more suspicious. So that is what it's killing. It's the same thing which is happening with the factory people also. See, they are also helpless in such a manner, like, they can't even fire a particular person just because of some reason. See, they need to also dig into explanation who are all involved, because so most of these North Indian factories which work in India are part of family business. So so that's why when somebody asks them, like, why can't we go to the police? No, it's difficult, because they know, the management still know that what they're doing is not legal. Legally, it's not right. But still, they are favoring the people, they are paying people, but pay also in terms of, there is a clear kind of a division which is happening. And also, like, in some of the Indian factories, it's now, even today, it's very evident that, when females are going through their menstruation cycle, like, periods and all, they are forbidden from work, and they have to go loss of pay. They have to be on loss of pay, and they are treated as unclean or something, like, because, and they are not used to use the regular washrooms and all. They have to go to the backside or somewhere. The kind of conditions and everything is poor. So I've never put my lens towards those kind of conditions. Only saying certain layers. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. We had a question there in the back, then one there. Okay.
Thank you so much for having the privilege to see this movie here in Locarno, Switzerland. But I'm wondering how it will be, or how you, if you will show the film in India, if you expect to meet some problems or some, how you prepare to show this, to present this film in India if you didn't?
No, it's not audible. Sorry, I couldn't get your question.
I'm wondering how you will, if you will present this film in India as well, and if you expect some problems,
Of course, like, all my films have got controversies. So some way or the other, like, some deals with geopolitical issues and all, and some deals with religion and all. So yeah, so far the film is not censored in India. So let me go to the censor board and then ask them, like, what they have to say about the film. So I've still not cleared the kind of censorship in India, but I think it's okay. It will be okay with them. It's not harming anybody, and we wish to release it theatrically in December. By December, we wish to release the film. So yeah, let's hope for the best.
Yeah, we have a question here and then here.
Hello. Yeah, first of all, congratulations for the whole team for the movies. We appreciate also from the community for Malayalis. And we have a question to Kunjako.
Yeah.
Kunjako Chetan. We saw you, we know you as an actor since many, many years. We saw you in many, many movies, dancing, acting, and singing. And in this movie, you have
I'm a very bad singer. Don't ask me to sing, please.
We know. Easy, no, don't say that. We know you since many, many years. And in this movie, you have a typical role. The music was at the end. What's your sensation? What's your explication about your evolution as an actor?
Yeah, as I said, I have been tagged as a so-called romantic or a chocolate boy next door for so many years. So for the last maybe 7 or 8 years, I have been trying my very best to shake off that tag. And that journey started alongside with Mahesh. He was my editor for a film called Traffic, which paved a new wave of thoughts and new direction for the Malayalam movie industry. And it just got the Malayalam industry to the next level. So from there on, I have been trying so many different types of movies, so many different types of characters in every genre. And I've been pretty lucky to get some of the best talents down south, down in Kerala, who happen to be the best in the country as well, just to be associated with. So many good movies, like Traffic and How Old Are You, Take Off, along with Mahesh himself. So many movies, like recently some political relevant movies like Pada, Nayatu, all these happened, and I have been donning some roles which was least expected from me, which would have been like maybe 10 years back. So when I came up with Ariyippu, I wanted Mahesh to come up with something sensational, something which we could place globally, not just pan-Indian, globally. So that's what has happened with Locarno, and we are just humbled and overwhelmed, and the feeling is just surreal, actually. Because as you guys know, my family has been in the Malayalam film industry for the past 75 years, and this is the 75th year of my banner, and I floated a new banner called Kunchaku Bhavan Productions, and this happens to be the very first production venture, along with my dear friend Shebin and Mahesh, who happens to be a co-producer. So, and enacting the role of Harish, as I said earlier, he's not so-called a clean guy, actually. We can find the gray shades in him. He's very opportunistic. He's a male chauvinist at times. He is a male dominant or dominant husband at times. But then he keeps changing his colors according to situations. He keeps pushing Rishmi to do things which he thinks will be good for them in the future, but at the cost of their honor, their dignity, things like that. So that's not the so-called romantic hero that I have been all these years. And I'm pretty much thrilled and excited and fired up to do more such interesting and very demanding roles which can push me up another notch above. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And thank you for coming up here. Sugano. I wanted to say Malayalam, but Sugano ellarkum. Okay, thank you.
Just a second, the microphone is not working.
It's okay now? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for producing and making this film. I have a simple question to the producer. We all know Bollywood, and we know the stories of Bollywood. Do you think that you will make money with this film in India? Or what about the conditions to show this film in India? Okay, you have more millions as we hear in Switzerland, but what about the condition to show it?
For the producer.
I didn't hear actually.
Let me answer. I can answer also because I'm also.
He's also a co-producer.
I'm also a producer of the film, so yeah, I can also answer. So luckily now India has got a. See, I follow the midstream way where it's neither the commercial nor the very independent art schools kind of scenario. So I truly believe in the midstream. So this is where I have pushed a little more. So like. This looks like an independent film for people here, but also it has got connectivity. So we still believe that it can make some kind of money in India. So we have some we have already, because this is because of our kind of association with the past, with our past films. Making such a film is not that kind of a tough process for us. But yeah, but this one last all my films. This is my 4th film as a director. So last all my films I've never showcased in a pre-made in a festival and then went back to theatrical. All my films have released theatrically or either in a platform and then did the festival round. So this is the first time I'm trying the festival round in the beginning and then going back. So I think that it's always possible to vice versa, go this way or the other way. So that at least after all it's all human emotions. Like if people here can relate to it, then people back in India can also relate to it. So I'm always thankful for keeping it so close to people so that, let the people watch and decide. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have one last question here. Please.
just now when the conversation was going on. At a certain point in narrative, Harish had also an opportunity to be a great character, to stand up and not be an opportunistic. To a certain journey of the film, we see Harish like that, very upright. Even in the police station, he said, I'll not withdraw the complaint and all that. It very conveniently, then the baton was passed on to Reshmi. Were you at any point of time considerate of the role of woman and you wanted to make Reshmi a kind of a strong woman? So the shift in narrative happened from Harish to Reshmi at a certain point of time. Because I could have also seen Harish to be the same person with the same values, the same morals. But I know that you have answered earlier that he's always an opportunist person, and he articulated very well that he changes his color according to the situation and all that. But at what point of time, while you were scripting, while you were actually defining the narrative, that you thought of giving away that to Reshmi?
See, if you look at the first scene of the film, it's very evident because the first scene itself, Harish is shooting a skill video. They both are working in the same factory. But why there is no skill video for the husband? Because it's the same, because she's a skilled worker. It's like a marriage of convenience what they have created. It's not a proper love marriage or anything. It's a marriage of convenience. It's what the Kerala Malayali diaspora always do, or the Indian diaspora always do, where they it's in the nursing sector you'll understand better. In terms of here factory also, he's a supervisor who's paid more, but he can't travel alone. She's also telling it, who came first when the other supervisor is asking her. No, I came first, then my husband. So this is the route, what they normally follow. So it's very evident from the first scene itself. He always wants to push her to, her skill is being utilized from the beginning itself. So, and if you look at the, in the next scene, very next scene, when he's sitting in that visa office, he's asking his wife, where is the video? The video is not about him. The video is about her. And that's the skill which is being exploited again and again. So it's evident from the first scene itself. Yeah.
Mahesh, would you allow me to quickly answer?
Yeah, please.
Different,
Yeah.
See, we all know. Even when we are aware of the patriarchal evils that the hands that are behind us and surrounding us in our own relationships inside the house, it is easier to turn a blind eye to the patriarchal practices, and it is not that easy to stand against it. Even inside our domestic life, it takes a bit courage. And when a person suffered injustice, a very personal and very brutal injustice at the hands of the patriarchy that has been going on for the last how many centuries or what, then then you get that courage to stand up. And for the husband or for the male partner, it is easier to forget that as a small unit of family, for him it is easier to forget that injustice. And of course, not for the person, the partner who suffered injustice from the whole patriarchal system, whether it is legal, whether it is our own family, whether it is our own friends, the gazers, even one of my, there are many moments of where the actors have, Chakuchan, she asks, that also, represents, can I cook something quickly? The age-old patriarchal thing that, I should feed you before you go out from the house. And she's also, fed on that. And she's asking, can I cook something quickly for you and before you go? And Harish turns around and gives her a look. Oh my God, that's one of my favorite moments in the film. And the look that, the communication, the silent communication that happens in that particular small scene is one of my favorite moments. I'm quoting that scene to say that it is easier for the male partner to overlook the patriarchal thing that is eating them. I mean, it is eating their own family, but still they are concerned about the opportunities and how we can place a a welfare family with more wealth at the cost of the happiness and togetherness of the partner. I just want to put it, the stepping outside from the story and to look at in a more personal and truthful way. Yeah, thank you for allowing me to say that.
So, thank you. We've run out of time, so thank you for being here. Thank you for presenting Declaration. Thanks to the audience for being here. If you like the movie, please recommend it. It's playing tomorrow and the day after tomorrow again. So, see you these days, and thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Mahesh will be here throughout the festival,
Yeah.
so you can catch up with him.
Yes,
Yeah,
you can
I'll be
continue
here.
talking around.
And even Divya.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.